also our guest, John Bright.
Now, I should mention that this is not the form of meditation that I typically teach, but it is a precursor to that. I teach transcendental meditation, which some of you practice, and this will be a precursor to transcendental meditation technique. And we're calling this body awareness. So we'll begin just by, as I said, sitting comfortably, and then let's close our eyes without doing anything in particular. Just one simple thing, and that's to close the eyes before your breakfast, and then sometime in the afternoon, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, sometime before dinner. And then when we meet next time, I'd love to hear how you're feeling in daily life, as well as what you noticed during the practice.
I just wanted to say that it was a wonderful experience, and I really felt the energy going down, and I felt grounded into the earth, and that was a really wonderful experience. I've been kind of in my head most of the day, and I felt the energy descending and going down and grounding me into the earth, and it was a beautiful feeling of stability and just rooting myself.
Beautiful. Yes, thank you. This is what we're doing is we're letting that energy of our awareness, which is that beautiful energy of the universe, really, and we're bringing it out of all of our doing that we do all day long, and we're letting it just come to our body. And then, as you say, Bharti, we'll feel more grounded, more stable, more calm. Solange, did you have another comment also? Thank you.
I have a question.
Please.
Why sometimes it feels so difficult to just do nothing?
Well, what's happening there is you've heard of the word restlessness? Okay. So restlessness, like all of the different feelings that we could have, we could feel energy, we could feel restless, we could feel worried, we could feel calm, we could feel angry. All of those different emotions and feelings have a basis somewhere in the body in some kind of biochemistry. And so all day long, we're busy. We're doing things. And when we do things, the imprint of those doings gets imprinted into our body. So it's not surprising that when we stop doing, we start to feel some of the residue of all of those doings. And what it's really happening is that it's kind of going out of the body. That restlessness is just a good sign of the body discharging the biochemistry of restlessness or anxiousness or worry. And when we feel that in this practice, then we just let our awareness go from that emotion and that feeling or those thoughts, and then just bring it back to the physical sensation in the body. That's not the same as restlessness. That's not the same as anxiousness or worry. It's just a physical sensation. And that helps the body to heal and balance. And then we'll have less of that restlessness during the day or when we would like to be sitting and talking calmly with a friend. And instead we feel a little bit of that restless feeling. Does that make sense, Solange?
Yes, thank you.
It's a very beautiful healing practice to do this. And at some point, we'll talk a little bit more about transcendental meditation and what that is and how that works, how it's a little different from this. Was there another question somewhere? Whoever would like to ask a question, just go ahead and unmute.
Saying that, is there a name for this practice, and how much different is it from TM? Is it significantly different?
The easiness of this is like TM. A TM is takes us a little more directly to deeper rest and more of what we call transcendence. But this is in that direction.
So it would be a first step to kind of prepare
Yes,
you.
that's what I'm thinking of. This is a preparation for learning TM.
You have made us so quiet. There is no question whatsoever. It is absolutely unruffled sea. The water, so no question is coming up.
It's nice, yes. And we'd like to feel that way. That's why, again, let me remind you that to do it in the morning and to do it in the afternoon, and then our day will be more easy like that. The day will feel more nice and easy, even some energy be there more. Also, one thing I did not mention, Amal, which you remind me of, if you feel sleepy when you do this, that's okay. That's part of this practice. Sleep, like restlessness, is a very natural healing process. It's just a sign, it's a signal from the body telling you, hey, I'm tired. You're not letting me sleep enough. And if you feel sleepy while you do this, just lie down. Just right in the middle, lie down and see if you go to sleep. And that'll be fine. Yes, Susan, please.
It's really funny you mentioned that. So when a TM teacher teaches meditation, I feel like sleeping.
When they're talking, you mean?
Almost no, but when they start to guide the meditation, I suddenly feel this urge to just lie down and sleep.
Yeah, it's just the same thing, Susan. When we start to quiet down, we're just giving the body an opportunity to do what it wants to do. And the body, I think we talked about this last time, the body is designed to heal itself when we give it what it needs. Now, what does it need to heal itself? Rest. That's all. Just some rest. But most of us live pretty busy lives. Even if we're retired, we have so many things on our schedule. And so all we're doing here is just letting the body take a little rest. TM is a technique to gain a very deep state of rest, deeper than what we're doing here. But any degree of rest, just by closing our eyes, then we may feel these different things come up. Sleep is one. We could feel some physical sensations. As we discussed with Solange, we could feel some emotions come up. Did anyone notice any other emotions during these few minutes that we were doing this? Any emotion or feeling on the emotional level? So that could definitely happen, and that's fine. We just, when we realize that our awareness has gone to that, then we bring it back to the physical body.
What will be your guidelines for somebody who is new to meditation to start the practice, and how to make the choice for right type of meditation technique, and how to sustain it? That's the most important part.
That's a beautiful question, Sachin, and that's why it's nice that we're doing this together. This is something that's so simple to do, and we're only talking about 5 or 10 minutes. And the key to sustaining it really is your own decision. It's good to make a decision that, okay, this is good for me, and so I'm going to do it. And then the next step is to make it a habit, a routine. And so to do that, think of the time. That's why the morning meditation is usually the easiest one, because everybody has a routine of waking up at some point. Maybe it's 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., or maybe it's 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. But at some point we wake up. And if then our routine is then to, brush our teeth and put some water on our face and then sit down and do this practice, or if you have some other meditation practice, that's fine too. And then do that in the morning. Then, Sachinji, the afternoon is really the most challenging time for most people. Not everyone, but most people find the afternoon challenging, because if we're working, we're on Zoom calls all day long now. And if we're not working, then we have all these things that we do. We just have so many responsibilities. We have some family, we have some friends, we have something that we're reading, we have our favorite thing on Netflix. So many different things. So then it's good to kind of fix a time that we think is the best time. And then we put a little reminder in our smartphone that says, okay, we have a schedule. The first thing in the morning, I do my little practice, body awareness. We'll call it body awareness. And then in the afternoon, our schedule is there, and maybe we get a little reminder in our calendar. A little ping comes half an hour before our 3 o'clock session. So those would be two good things to do, to remind us to do it, because otherwise we just forget, and then suddenly it's bedtime. And we go, oh my gosh, I forgot to do my body awareness practice. Did you have some other part to your question, Sachin?
So the other question will be people rest. So what might be the difference between the sleep or taking a nap versus the meditation?
When we're practicing the meditation, we're aware. And when we're sleeping, we're not aware. So that's the difference between meditating and sleeping. Now, if sleeping comes up during meditation, then we just let it come up and we can fall asleep while we're sitting there. Or even better, we can just lie down and sleep for a little bit. So sleep is a natural thing. And this practice of our awareness going to the body is also natural. And if sleep comes, we let sleep take the upper hand. Because if we were not going to do that, then we would have to start to use some concentration. We'd have to try to work a little bit. We'd have to try to focus to keep ourselves awake. And then what I've taught you, we won't be doing that. We just let the sleep come and welcome that sleep.
Now, one more question to that in sequel. So the theme is that effortlessness is a very important thing. That's what Maharishi taught us, right? So why people then think that meditation is a chore and they don't think they have time to do so, and how to break that cycle through the mental process, or how to actually make it happen. You ask everybody and they want to be happy and they want to meditate. But when it comes to reality, it doesn't happen necessarily to everybody. Then some people figure out ways. Now in the digital age, people put timers to meditate, or they have like somebody like you. Every time John calls, I run around and make sure I finish my meditation. I'm ready to go to bed. Otherwise, I'm in trouble, right? So what would be the process which we do on the initial level to beginning the practice so that we don't fall into the crack?
Proper training. Proper training is the key thing. And then I would say it's also very helpful. You have a group, Sachin, that meets every Monday. Maybe at the beginning of your meeting or right after the music, First thing you do is you invite everyone to meditate, to do this practice together for 5 minutes. You start with a half a minute without doing the practice, just with the eyes closed. Then you begin the practice. You time it for 4 or 5 minutes. And then you take 1 minute before opening the eyes. And so do that every Monday at the beginning of your wellness meeting. Everyone will find that when you do it together, like this, it's always better. It's always nice. And so then maybe you can organize a way for people to be in touch with one another on Zoom.
Yeah.
Morning and evening, you can set that up, a specific time. That will be a wonderful help to everyone in your circle. You just create a Zoom link, a time in the morning, a time in the afternoon, and then you can lead them into this practice.
Thank you so much, John. We have just a couple of minutes, second part of this. So our friend, Wangmo Dixie, she is the executive director of a Dharma college in Berkeley. But if you want to add anything, Wangmo, please feel free to do so. And we are really blessed to have you on this platform.
So Dr. Sachin, I was speaking to him yesterday and to his friend about some of the work we are doing in India, especially with, as so sadly to hear in many of the states, there's growing COVID, and especially in the rural communities, those that are very unfortunate and very poor. So we have launched a whatever we can with our friends to go out to those villages, especially in Bodh Gaya. And Bodh Gaya is a very holy place for Buddhists. It is the seat of enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. And in the village communities, now COVID is there. And you may be knowing in Bihar, there's more and more COVID in Gaya. So sad to share this news with you. Maybe you already know, but we are trying to deliver food to the very poor in the villages, rice and dal, and basically the weekly materials. And we have a foundation which is called the Light of Buddha Dharma Foundation International, India. We also have our headquarters are here in Berkeley. We do have our FCRA. It's quite difficult to get FCRA. We're one of the rare local organizations in Bodh Gaya that has FCRA. But today I was so happy. I went to the bank and I sent a wire to Bodh Gaya for the food offering, which will be to support about 250 families for 2 or 3 weeks. And that contains rice and dal and different ingredients like oil. So I just want to share that with you. And if anyone would like to know more about it, they can speak to the great hosts here and welcome you to join in this effort. We are going to do whatever we can, family and friends, to support. And I'm sure there's many communities that you are all associated with. And I really encourage all of us to give back to our own communities that we are connected to, because as you know, in India, some of the basic supplies go a long way, and whatever we can do to support them, especially during COVID, many jobs are lost, and they're facing great hardship right now. So that's all I would like to share with you, and I'm very happy to see all of you online and to meet you and be part of this program and to connect with Dr. Sachin, more formally now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wangmo. Anything you would like to add about the work of your father, little bit your background, how you went into all this mission, what inspired you? Just 2 minutes and then we'll wrap up.
My father was very fortunate. He left in China right before the invasion to follow his master. And his master was in Sikkim. And as you know, in the traditional wisdom, the guru and disciple was very connected. And so he followed his guru to Sikkim to see him for the last time. And as it happened, his journey took him to Nepal and eventually back to Varanasi, and he was teaching at Sanskrit University, where my mother met him there, and then decided to come to the West right in the 60s when the Dharma was very new and meditation was sort of very unusual. Of course, in the 60s, there was a lot going on in the West, but he found himself in Berkeley. And Berkeley is also very open to this kind of way of thinking, especially meditation. But 50 years has now passed, and he's dedicated his entire life to really putting the seeds of the Dharma here in the West, and also doing whatever he can to support in the East, especially the Tibetans, the Nyingma, the wisdom tradition, which are all of these texts, the sacred, very sacred words that have been passed from all the way back to 2,000 years, and even more recently to the Nalanda tradition, where there are great pundits and people who dedicated their entire life to understanding the key to enlightenment. Now we just hear the word enlightenment or, samsara, but really these were key people who were fully dedicated to understanding this, what is the mind, how does the mind-body interact, and much, much more. I'm not even, able to communicate that because they were great, great scholars, great pundits. And so from that tradition, entered into Tibet, and teacher, master, and student, all this oral lineage is now still alive. And my father studied with 20 of the most prominent masters from all the different traditions, and has landed here in the West and established a number of institutions, including Dharma College, which is what I'm doing now. And I'm a kind of unique hybrid because I was brought up here in the West, but as I get older, I recognize that really the keys to this great wisdom tradition lie in a tradition. They lie in the roots, and we don't have the words yet here in the West or the experience, and that's slowly happening. But in your country, it has centuries of great masters who have dedicated their whole life on this path, the Dhamma. So here we just hear the word Dhamma, but how do we really bring it into our life so that it really is a whole embodiment that we understand? So that's what we're trying to do. It's very early stages, like just a little baby, maybe even, it's very new. And but I believe very much in the cross section between East and West. I think the two are very important and they can support each other.
Wangmo, I would like to end this session with something you would like to share special with all of us.
So we are so blessed for all of the incredible, our life, just to have great gratitude that this life exists, and to our dear parents that that they may be strong and healthy, and that we may find through this special period right now, which is requiring all of our strength, physical strength and our mental strength, to find a little bit of joy in the day, and to find that joy as an opening into the heart of us to give to another. So the preciousness of our life, we are so, so blessed to have our life as it is, and to have the people around us that support this life. And to thank all of you for being so caring, and in this forum, to be able to just offer selflessly an opportunity to care for each other.